My name is Hitomi. I met my husband of the same age, and we ended up getting married about a year after we met. I guess it's what you call a speedy marriage. Shortly after, we had twin boys, and I was supposed to have a hard but happy life with my husband and our 2-year-old twins, but how did this happen? One day, I found out that my husband was having an affair. The other woman was a stranger, but she was about my age. My husband wanted nothing more than to be with the woman he was having an affair with. He left me and our 2 kids and left home.
I'll grasp my own happiness. You do your best too. I'll give you custody. What is this letter?
With the sudden affair and divorce, I didn't have time to think about asking for alimony or having a proper discussion about child support. My ex-husband had an affair and left us, and he never once cared about the kids from over there. Not once did he leave a dime for diapers, not once did he pay child support. I don't know what to do. I have to raise these kids. I have to get a job right away. But in the meantime, who's going to take care of them? I could only think about raising the twins I had left. It was difficult enough to raise one kid alone while working, so I decided to take my 2 kids and return home to my parents. I worked hard every day with the help of my parents and my sister and her family who lived nearby. Fortunately, the twins were only naughty up until the start of elementary school, perhaps out of concern for me. What if I put stress on my kids? What if I had created an environment where they couldn't say what they wanted to say? Every day I ask myself such questions, and yet every day I work for these kids. As I was desperately going about my daily life, I realized that the kids had entered the 3rd grade of junior high school. Then, in the winter, when my child was in 3rd grade, I suddenly got a call from my ex-husband. A call that hadn't come in 15 years. I answered anyway. Hello?
Hello? Is this a good time?
What are you doing calling me out of the blue after all this time?
Are you still mad at me? I'm sorry I left so abruptly, but I have something important to tell you.
You think I'm still mad at you? I'm not mad. Well, let's listen to what he has to say. So, what is it?
Well, I have a child from my 2nd marriage, and he's 4 years old.
Oh, yeah? And?
Well, he's got this really bad disease, and he needs an organ transplant.
I see. Well, that's a tough break for you.
My wife and I both had trouble getting a match, so I thought, if it's my kid, then maybe it'll fit.
So, you're asking for an organ donation from my kids?
That's really the only way. I beg you, please, just get tested to see if it's a match. There's 2 of them, so I think there's a good chance.
Huh, this guy. He must really love his 4-year-old son. What is this man who abandoned his 2-year-old twin kids saying? If my sons have an organ transplant, the damage to their bodies would be big. There's no way I can go that far for a man who left his own children for a woman with no consequences. I don't owe him anything. Even if I did owe him a favor, it's a hard decision to make. Absolutely not. Why should my child go to such lengths for your child?
But my 4-year-old son's life is at stake!
Please find someone else, because I'm not letting my kids do that.
Please, just take the test!
You're so persistent. When the conversation started going in circles, I forced myself to hang up the phone. It had been a while since he contacted me, and he starts making demands like that? I wasn't expecting anything, but I was indeed annoyed by that request. But apparently my ex-husband had not given up. My ex-husband contacted me several times after that. Using all sorts of tricks, he was insistent on asking if I could just let them take a test. My kids are in the process of preparing for high school entrance exams. Considering this, it was undesirable for anyone outside to make a fuss, and I wanted my ex-husband to keep quiet for the time being. I'll shut him up. And so I decided to have the kids take the test, just like they would for a physical checkup. After a while, the test results were returned. The test results have been returned. Yes, let's meet at a family restaurant in front of the station then. With the results, I went to the family restaurant where my ex-husband and his wife were waiting. I hope they're satisfied with this. So, you already got the results, right?
How did it go?
I put out a piece of paper on the table with the test results on it. Yes, I got the results. In conclusion, it seems like there's a 75% chance it matches. Thank God! 75% is a relief!
That's what siblings do. My kids are identical, so that makes 2. That's great!
My baby will be saved by this! Oh, I'm so glad, thank you so much! My ex-husband and his partner started rejoicing as soon as they heard the results. What are you mistaken about? I'm not going to let them donate their organs.
What?
Did I mishear you? What did you just say? We can't donate any organs. My boys are about to take their high school entrance exams. I already hate the fact that someone who abandoned his 2-year-old twins and wife is asking for a favor. But what are you thinking of doing with these kids at such an important time on top of that? My ex-husband and his partner looked at me like they didn't expect me to say no. After a few seconds of pause, the remarried partner went crazy and grabbed me. Hey, don't be silly! What do you mean, don't be silly? I'm very serious. I know you hate me, but the kid has nothing to do with this. Yeah, then what do my kids have to do with this? Why did you think your son would benefit from this? You're the ones who stole a man with a child and didn't pay alimony. I don't have any grudge or hatred against her. As a matter of fact, I didn't care about them. But I must have been storing up a lot of things because the words were coming out so smoothly.
Please! This has nothing to do with me or my kids!
Please, it's my precious child I finally had at 40. Her anger gradually turned to tears. She got down on her knees on the spot and asked me for the favor. This is a family restaurant. It seemed like nothing I say is registering with his partner. I decided to explain it to my ex-husband, who still seemed a little calm. My children are taking exams right now. What are you going to do if something happens to my kids because of this injury to their bodies at this time of the year?
Well...
I have to protect them, just like you have to protect yours. So I can't help you. As expected, my ex-husband was nodding his head, as if he couldn't find the words to say anything back. But his partner showed no sign of giving up. I knew it! She's just going to let our child die! I bet you think it's good karma! I don't care enough about you guys to think that. Liar! You're just trying to get back at me for taking your husband away from you! Is that how you behave when you ask someone for a favor? What? You took the test just to give us hope! I'll hate you for the rest of my life! They ignored us and our kids until now, and just after our kids turned 15 years old, they asked us to help them with an organ transplant. Why did they think they had the right to hold a grudge against us? If you're going to resent me or my kids, why don't you resent yourself for not giving birth to a healthy child? I knew it was a taboo thing to say, but I was so disgusted by his partner's words that I couldn't help but say it out loud. Hearing my words, the partner turned red and choked on her words. I hope your child gets well, if you'll excuse me. With that, I turned to leave. Hey, wait a second! The woman grabbed me, so I quickly shook off her arm. Ow! It looked like the bag hit her in the face as I shook her arm off. I took advantage of the time and held her face and pulled back.
Hey!
I threw my receipt for the kids' exam at my ex-husband, who approached me as if to say something. I will not charge you for this, but please don't contact me or the kids again in exchange. After saying that, I left the place. I haven't heard from them since then, so I don't know what happened to his son with his second partner. My son's high school entrance exams were over, and they both got into the schools they wanted to go to. Congratulations to both of you for passing. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, Mom. It's thanks to you for letting us study so freely. By the way, that test, what was it all about? They said it was a physical exam, but I looked it up, and it was about an organ donation or something. Have we already had our organs harvested?
Of course not. I'm sorry, I didn't want to explain it to you because I thought it would interfere with your exams. The kids were curious and asked me about that time. I told them I didn't want a scalpel to be inserted into their healthy bodies during their critical time and the infections it might cause.
Our dad didn't contact us for 13 years, and now he's asking for our organs? He's insane! He has to pay us alimony first, and Mom's hairdressing bill!
It's messy and I cut it myself all the time.
When we're in high school, we can get part-time jobs. Would that make things a little easier for you?
Oh, what are you talking about? Studying is work in high school. So is making friends. This is your 3 precious years, so don't you worry about getting a part-time job.
But we might make friends at our part-time job. And we'll learn a lot about society too, right? Yeah, I'm sure that'll be one of the most precious days of your life too.
Oh, you guys are so quick to say nice things.
I want to be a lawyer in the future. I want to help people like Mom who are left with kids. Oh, that's so cool! Let's have a race to see who passes the bar exam first! Come on, I said something nice. You ruined it.
Truly, my sons are too good for me. Yes, well, you'll have to study hard for that then. Mom will do her best too. I'm so grateful to my parents and my sister and her husband for supporting me to get this far. I'll send these children out into society properly. Believing that this would be one way to repay them, I decided to continue working hard for them both. My name is Misaki Ota. I'm a housewife who also works part-time. My husband Shinjo is a delivery man for a certain parcel delivery service. He's been working diligently ever since he graduated from high school and is now in a position of responsibility.
Well, it's the only thing I can do. I'm trying my best.
Everyone knows you're working hard. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given you the job of section chief. I was proud of my husband, and I wanted people to know. But I learned later that it was a pretty difficult issue. Because it's a well-known company, their uniforms, bags with that courier company's logo, and other items are strictly managed.
Sorry. I hope you'll be careful too, Misaki.
Of course, I'll take care of it. If they're stolen and misused for crimes, it's not a good thing. It's true that everyone opens the door easily when a delivery person comes. So since I do the laundry, I was extra careful. I never hung it outside, and when I dried it, I either put it in the dryer or in our bedroom. So no one could see them. I also locked the door to my bedroom. But even though I was being very careful, a terrible incident happened. One morning, I did the laundry as usual and hung my husband's uniform in the bedroom. I locked the door once and vacuumed the room to clean. And when I unlocked the doorbell rang. Yes? After dealing with the guest, I go back to cleaning again, not knowing that the incident had already taken place. And that night, after my husband came home and finished bathing and eating, I went to the bedroom to get ready for tomorrow.
Huh? Where's my uniform?
What? I hung them up, didn't I? I think it's dry by now.
No, it's not here. Where is it?
What? Sure enough, I hung them up in the bedroom today. In a panic, we searched around the whole house, but it was nowhere to be found.
Oh no!
It's strange that it's not here after all the searching. Maybe a burglar got in and stole it. My husband's colleague had a similar case. There was a man who stole uniforms with the intention of committing a crime, and although they managed to catch him, his colleague was demoted for poor management. Apparently, it's a lot stricter now. But I tried it properly.
Yeah, we'll have to go to the police.
This was the first time something routine was disrupted. My husband and I calmed ourselves down, heading to the police station. Oh no, what if my husband gets demoted because of me? As soon as we arrived at the police station, we told them our clothes had been stolen, and the policeman laughed a little.
Clothes? So it's not valuables?
It wasn't just regular clothes. They're uniforms for the delivery company my husband works for.
I can't have it misused!
Then, perhaps realizing the gravity of the situation, he began to take the situation seriously. There are so many crimes that can be committed by pretending to be a delivery person. That's why things like this have to be dealt with accordingly.
Can we head over to your house now?
Of course.
Please!
They agreed to look at the scene, and my husband and I returned home with 2 police officers. The police car pulls up and the neighbors start to clamor. Oh my gosh, what happened? We think our house might have been broken into. Oh my! Ladies who love to gossip come here to see what's going on. Ai Yashiwaka, the next-door neighbor, was there too. What's going on? Ai-san, we think our house may have been broken into. We're having the police take a look at it right now. The police? Ai-san's complexion is changing rapidly. Come to think of it, it was Oshikawa-san who came over when I was cleaning. Calling the police just because your clothes were stolen? Are you stupid? That line out of panic even reached a police officer. What? I never said anything about clothes. Yes, I only said that we might have been robbed. The only people knew that our clothes were stolen are us and the culprit. How did you know?
May we ask you for more details?
Ai-san started panicking as soon as my husband and I and the 2 policemen stepped in closer. I just guessed it might be the clothes. Your husband works at a delivery company. That must be unusual. Unusual? The uniform? Yes, it's so flashy. Just like a delivery man's uniform. The green color stands out too much. Green is the color of the uniform that was stolen this time. There are 2 kinds of uniforms, green and yellow. The one that was missing this time was the green one. It was already obvious.
Can we talk in the car for a minute?
Are you accusing me? No, it's not me. Ai-san tries to run away. When the policeman interfered, she panicked even more. Hey, I want to go home.
Not until we finish hearing from you.
You're so persistent. I'm going to file a damage report. So what? You'll get a criminal record. I don't know anything about it. Why don't you ask my husband?
We'll do that then.
Along with Ai-san, we headed next door. Ai-san's husband was startled by the sudden appearance of so many people, including the police officers.
What on earth is going on? Excuse me, your wife is suspected of being a burglar. May we ask you about it? Yes. Do you have any unfamiliar uniforms at home?
Tension flared up. Then he gives out a giggle.
Ah, yes, there it is. A delivery man's costume. My wife said she bought it today.
It feels good to see someone being so honest. Ai-san was trembling. Why would you say that? Are you stupid?
Huh? Because you bought that, didn't you? You said it looked just like the real thing. You got it on a special deal.
Ugh, shut up! When he said so clearly, Ai-san transformed again. I'll give it back. She pushed the policeman away, went to the back of the house, and came right back. In her hand was my husband's uniform. She slammed it down. This is what you want, isn't it? Here, it's over. Why did you do this? I was going to resell it. You can sell them for a lot of money. Uniforms not for sale. Oh, how irritating to be told off for something like this. I'm the one who's mad. And resell? Does she know what will happen to my husband if she does that? I don't know what purpose you had, but hugging the uniform tightly, I yelled at her on a whim. My husband works every day in this uniform, sweating it out. And this uniform is strictly managed. If he gets fired, it's because of you. Can you take responsibility? Ugh, stop overreacting. People like you are still cute, but there are people who try to use this uniform to commit crimes, such as entering other people's homes. They are strictly managed to prevent that from happening. Do you realize what you've done? Both the policeman and the lady were surprised to see me so furious. It's not a joking matter after all. Yes, I understand, but I gave it back, so it's fine. Even after saying this, Ai-san showed no remorse at all. I had already decided. I will file a damage report.
What? Oh no! Please don't!
It was her husband, Hiroshi-san, who became impatient. He rushed down on his knees, but my feelings remained unchanged.
Well then, ma'am. You're coming to the police station to tell us your story.
Oh no, I apologized. Ai-san is put in the police car. The whole neighborhood will see and no one will give her the light of day anymore. Thanks to the lady, word of the incident spread quickly and as expected, Ai-san and her family were kept at a distance. Ai-san is on probation and has been holed up in her room all day. I never would have thought that one piece of clothing could cause such a thing. I hope she reflects on her crime. Shortly thereafter, they moved somewhere else, as if they had reached their limit. Hiroshi-san was apologetic until the very end.
I'm getting a divorce and starting a new life.
I see.
I'm truly sorry for all of this.
They soon divorced and Ai-san was sent back to her parents' home. After that, my husband reported this incident to the company just in case. The theft wasn't our fault and we got it back, so there were no punishments, which was a relief. Ugh, I need to be more proper. It was an incident that made me realize it's not okay just because there are neighbors or someone we know.
I'm really sorry for giving you a responsibility you didn't have to take on. In our area, we used to leave it up to the staff to handle the uniforms. But I've decided that I'm going to work to make sure that's not the case, and that the business office can manage it.
I understand that each establishment has its own circumstances, such as laundry facilities and the labor costs involved, so I don't expect this to happen anytime soon. But I hope the rules that leave it to people's good intentions will improve.
I am Sayori Inoki, a 20-year-old office worker. I've been married to my husband Shingo for 2 years. We've not been blessed with a child yet, but we are living happily together. Mother-in-law, I'll take care of the rest.
What are you talking about? I'm your housemate. Let me do some work.
You don't have to say it like that.
I'm kidding.
I have a good relationship with both my in-laws. I thought my marriage was going to go on like this, until that storm of a family member with a whirlwind of selfishness came along. It all started with a phone call to my husband. It was from Kumiko, my sister-in-law, who said she was coming to our house. Then the sister-in-law arrived with her 3 children.
We're going to live here from today.
What? I was astonished at the first thing she said at the opening of the meeting. I led her through to the living room and asked her about the details, and she told me that Yutaro, Kumiko's husband, had cheated on her. That's why they were getting a divorce.
And on top of that, he's reluctant to pay alimony and child support. So we decided to move in here.
Kumiko's overly selfish argument stunned me and my parents-in-law. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
But you live with my mother and father.
We're only living together for a limited time. You know we're renovating our house right now.
Sayori kindly allowed us to stay until they rebuild.
If you're coming back, wait until that house is ready. Until then, you can rent a room somewhere.
No. After the renovation, the rooms will mainly be Japanese style, right? There's not a lot of rooms, and it's not for old people. In this house, we can have a room for the kids and a room for me, and we can live spaciously. A room for the kids and you? What about us? You're a couple, you only need 1 room, right?
I never liked the self-centered, selfish Kumiko, but now that we're deeply involved, she's a pain in the butt. My husband, who'd been silent up to this point, let out a sigh and turned to Kumiko. I had expected him to be firm in his refusal, but what he said was not what I had expected.
Well, if that's the case, we'll just have to prepare ourselves not to have any more kids. Just think of it as an addition to our family. And even if we don't have kids of our own, we can be the parents of the 3 kids. Let's allow Kumiko to live with us.
My mouth stayed open.
Shingo, what are you talking about?
Do you even know what you're saying?
What are you talking about? Kumiko and the kids are victims too. Let's welcome them with an open heart.
But that's a different story.
My sister is your family too. Why are you so cold?
That's my big brother. You're the only one who understands me.
You're not the only one living here, you know. I'm the mainstay of this house. I decide who lives here. I don't want you or mom or dad interfering with that.
What are you talking about?
That's how it is. I'm looking forward to working with you, sister-in-law.
Ugh. You have children. You can stay for now. I'm feeling a little sick, so I'm going to go lie down. With that, I went to the western room to rest my body. After that, my parents-in-law continued to lecture my husband and Kumiko, but it seemed that the idiot siblings, who were being somewhat strangely stubborn, would not listen to them. I was angry at Kumiko, who was obviously trying to be a parasite in our house, but I was even more angry at my husband. Be prepared not to have children? Additional family members? Be their parents? I need to rethink my life from now on. I tried, but we couldn't have kids for 2 years, so we did a fertility test. I didn't have a problem, but my husband didn't want to do it because of his male pride, and he didn't get tested. With things like that, my husband was too reluctant to have a child with me. Living in this big house makes me lonely sometimes. In the meantime, we had to give up having kids and Kumiko takes over the house? It must be a bad dream or something. That night, when we ended up being stuck in the house with Kumiko's family... Hey, honey, are you serious about what you said during the day?
What? You don't feel sorry for Kumiko and the kids? A family is in trouble. If you meddle in my decisions anymore, I'll have to consider a divorce.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I can bring the divorce papers tomorrow if you want. Think about what's going to happen to a cold-hearted woman who can't even have children.
Fine, I get it. So that's how you feel. He's using divorce as a leverage to get his way. And he calls his wife a cold-hearted woman who can't have children? If you're going to act like that, I have an idea. 2 days later, the Kumiko divorce fiasco, which had caused so much fuss, was easily cleared up.
I'm really sorry for causing you trouble. No, I'm sorry for our bad daughter.
I really can't apologize enough.
No, I'm sorry for everything.
You have our sympathies. Thank you for coming all the way from afar.
Kumiko's family left easily with Kumiko's husband, who came to pick them up. Here's what happened. My mother-in-law, who had doubts about Kumiko's story, contacted Kumiko's husband to confirm the facts. Kumiko's lie was revealed there.
I went to the reunion, but she didn't want to hear about it, calling it cheating. Of course, I have nothing to be ashamed of.
Kumiko's husband came to our house to pick up Kumiko as soon as he heard what had happened from my mother-in-law.
Because my brother's house is huge! I thought I could move into his house if I got divorced because my house is too small and I'm ashamed of it.
Ah, so you want to move to my grandfather's house, which is bigger than ours? If you want a divorce, I'll agree. But not if you're going to cause trouble in this house.
I was scratching my head at the power of Kumiko's husband, but it was kind of funny. Kumiko's family argument was over, but her husband was not satisfied with the result and complained about it even after Kumiko's family left.
Dad! Mom! Why did you send Kumiko back to her husband?
Your sister is the one who tried to push through with her selfish demands.
But to let her live with her husband's grandfather? Who's not even related to her by blood? That's too much!
Then what about my current situation?
You're my wife, and you're just doing what you're supposed to!
At this moment, my marriage to my husband was completely out of sight and gone. So I decided to go ahead with it. I would have put it on hold depending on his reply. Too bad. That's what it is, father-in-law and mother-in-law. Now that I understand Shinjo's feelings, I would like to divorce him as I've told you. My parents-in-law with their large luggage appeared with a devilish look on their faces.
Yes, we can't help it if our son is like this.
We're really sorry if we took advantage of your kindness too. Sayori, if you ever need help, you can always count on us.
Why? I don't get it! Well, thank you so much for your time, even if it was short.
After seeing my in-laws off, my husband was still babbling on, so I decided to be kind and tell him. You know, I know you're the man of the house and all, but this is my house. It's the house my late father left me, and I'm the one who has the right to it. Just because we got married doesn't make it yours. This is a house that I inherited from my father, who passed away last year. Naturally, the house is in my name. We originally lived in an apartment near here, but when my father passed away, we took over the house that was left behind. My husband seems to have forgotten that, though. You blame me for not being able to have children, and you decide to live with my sister's family without my permission. When your demands are not met, you use divorce as a shield to get me to do what you want. I'm so fed up with you.
Hey, are you serious? If we get divorced...
I remember when you said, "Think about what will happen to you, a cold-hearted woman who can't even have children if you get divorced." I thought about it, but I don't see the problem. My fertility test came back fine, and I'm working, so it wouldn't make a big difference if I got divorced now. I'm just glad we can get divorced before we have kids.
Are you sure? I'll really divorce you! You're going to regret it! Apologize now, and I'll forgive you!
I said I want a divorce.
Fine! I'll get out of here! I don't want a cold-hearted woman like you anyway! You stone woman! You infernal woman! You'll be sorry!
With such a throwaway remark, my husband left. I was told that I could send my husband's belongings to the monthly apartment where my in-laws are staying, so I'll send that there with the divorce papers.
Sister-in-law, since the divorce is proceeding, we're going to stay at your place after all.
What a coincidence! I'm getting a divorce too, so please don't come to my house again. This is my house. Kumiko called me again, but I was busy, so I ended it in a second. I don't care about what happens to her family.
Hey! Sayuri! It's me! Open up! Let's talk!
My husband came to the house after realizing I was serious about the divorce, but I responded by locking the door with a chain and pretending not to hear. So he went back to his parents-in-law. After that, my husband was really insistent on not getting divorced, but my father-in-law seemed to have shut him up and we were able to get divorced smoothly. I got my share of the inheritance.
Where did we go wrong? I'm sure that my eyes were clouded when I looked at you two.
Keep your eyes cloudy for the rest of your life. I received such a half-hearted request for reconciliation from my ex-husband, but I returned one line and immediately blocked him. From what I've heard, he is receiving a lot of guidance at a relative's house with a reputation for being strict as a form of re-education from my ex-in-laws.
Let's start over again as husband and wife, from scratch!
When he goes home, he has the strict eye of his father-in-law, as he is living a life of exhaustion every day. By the way, Kumiko got divorced as well. The father has custody of the child. Apparently, she spent the savings for the children, and now she has to work to pay it back.
She comes to us asking for money, but we always turn her away, saying she can't come into the family home until she can pay back the money on her own.
I see. It must be tough for two of you as well. The information about my ex-husband and Kumiko came from my ex-mother-in-law, whom I happened to bump into on the street.
Sayori, my husband and I wish you happiness. Be happy.
Thank you very much. Take care. My unresolved feelings about the divorce is how I have a good relationship with my former parents-in-law, and I lost that connection. But I can't keep lamenting. I'll keep trying to find my own happiness. As a side note, my ex-husband and Kumiko are now insulated after a big fight because they're blaming each other.
My name is Nazuna Saito. I'm a regular housewife. I met my husband, Shun, through a mutual friend. We were blessed with a son and daughter, and everything seemed to be going perfectly.
What is this garbage?
You don't have to be that rude. He suddenly started calling my cooking trash. Just so you know, nothing is wrong or special about my cooking. It's just regular cooking that anyone can do. My son and daughter eat it too. He just keeps laughing and calling my food trash, and they just watch quietly. You really don't have to eat then.
Yeah, I'll eat this garbage.
What went wrong? After we had kids, things started getting weird. I told him over and over that I didn't appreciate it, but he just continued to say, well, it is trash. He's perfectly fine otherwise. I took a deep breath before working when I got a call from my mother-in-law during my lunch break. Her calling me during work. I wonder if something happened. Hello? Is something wrong?
You!
She sounded angry.
You apparently been feeding Shun garbage.
What?
How could you do that to your husband? I could never do such a thing.
I can't believe that Shun would report back to his mother that my cooking was trash. I was in such a shock that I froze up.
If you keep this up, I'm going to take action.
I didn't make him garbage though.
So you're saying my son is lying? You're the worst wife ever.
She's not going to listen to me, is she? She kept going, but I was about to start work again, so I just hung up after apologizing. That night, I told Shun that I got a call during work from his mom. I got a call from her during work. Have you been telling your mom that I make you garbage food?
Oh.
He was scratching his head like he had just been confronted with something awkward.
I mean, you know the kind of person she is, right? She wants to be the first. If I make you out to be amazing, she starts throwing a shit fit.
Yes, she needed to be the person that was taking care of the most. That's who she was.
So I just kind of went along with what she was saying. It's not my fault.
During the wedding, Shun and his father looked at me in my wedding dress and complimented me. She suddenly started saying I was seducing her husband. It took a while to calm her down. I made sure I wouldn't see her unless I absolutely needed to after that. I'm sure she would actually lose it if he said something about my cooking being good. But that doesn't mean that I actually cook him garbage. I feel bad for the kids who have to hear this crap. But why do you normally say that the cooking is trash when you can just say it to her when no one is around?
Aw, come on! It's hilarious!
What? I didn't realize how he could be this insensitive. Something inside me snapped. Garbage, huh? From that day on, I decided I would only feed him garbage. Of course, my kids would get regular cooking. He would get cut up pieces of vegetables, fish bones, eggshells, etc.
What the hell? This really is garbage!
You've been calling my cooking garbage this whole time. What's the difference?
Are you messing with me?
I just kept giving him garbage until he apologized. He just had to say sorry once and I would have quit, but he wouldn't. He just sat there in a quiet rage, trembling.
You know what's going to happen when I tell my mom?
What? You've been saying that it's trash this whole time anyway. What's the difference?
Then I'm going to have her come check this out. I'm going to have my mom come today.
He was breathing as if I would fold or something. Sure, do what you want. My mother and father-in-law came over to eat dinner. Shun, an angry-looking mother-in-law, and exhausted father-in-law showed up. I didn't care though. I gave my son and daughter regular food and garbage to Shun.
Here, look at this. It's actual garbage, Mom.
I don't believe it. What a messed up wife. You better apologize to him.
He's the one that started saying that my cooking is garbage.
What? So what? What's wrong with calling garbage garbage?
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for him having you as his wife.
It pissed me off even more knowing he was acting tough in front of his parents.
You need to divorce her. Sue her. We're going to sue you.
Yeah, we have proof of you serving garbage.
They started getting full of themselves. My son and daughter actually snapped before I did.
You need to stop that. You need to stop, Dad. You're the one at fault here.
Yeah, we know that you were the one saying your cooking was garbage when it was good food.
What the hell? You kids just shut up!
I don't know if you're doing this to make Grandma happy, but if you keep bullying Mom like this, I'm never going to forgive you.
I hate you, Dad.
Shun was shocked after thinking that his kids were Daddy's boy and Daddy's girls. Even his father spoke up.
What?
My father-in-law pulled out his phone and started playing a video. There was a video of Shun talking crap about my cooking. This was before I started really serving him trash. It's good food, but he keeps laughing and calling it garbage. They recorded it and sent it to my father-in-law.
It was really gross. His face looked just like Grandma's when he started calling it garbage.
How can you call someone's cooking trash like this?
But she really serves garbage now! You've been doing this every day, right? That's probably because you laugh like a moron and talk about her cooking the whole time.
Right? I'm impressed she kept it cool for this long.
My father-in-law is normally quiet, but when he gets mad, he's scary. Shun also felt quiet.
You're also part of the problem. Even if you don't like Nazuna-san, you shouldn't be listening to Shun's stupid jokes. It's embarrassing how attached you are to him.
But because she needs to be a better wife.
A wife? You haven't cooked a decent meal since we got married.
What? That was a surprising fact. She apparently couldn't cook at all. He did all the cooking. That's probably why she didn't like that I cooked decent food. She was bright red before falling quiet as well.
But
I'm thinking about divorce.
I don't want to call him dad or her grandma.
I hate them! That was the nail in the coffin. I decided right there I'd get a divorce and talk to a lawyer. My father-in-law apparently got tired of his wife too and divorced her. The mother-in-law was chased out of the house. I told him that I'd be suing for damages and child support. You should have heard his excuses. More than anything though, my kids were not willing to be with him anymore. I bought this house and he was just being quiet the whole time until I threw him out.
I really can't stay.
You can't even say sorry. No!
Seriously, you're such an embarrassment.
The kids chased him off in the end before he left. This is what I heard later on, but apparently the mother-in-law lives in a dinky little apartment with her son now. She was in such a shock that she's starting to lose it a little. Shun barely gets any sleep between work and taking care of his mom. You should be happy you get to be with your mom, you idiot. I live peacefully with my kids.
Mom, your cooking is so good. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys, thank you both. I was so happy to be living with two of my angels. I'm so glad I got a divorce. If I were with him any longer, it would have affected these kids negatively too. I should have done it sooner. Sometimes, my father-in-law sometimes pops in and says hello. They really loved him too. It's just cooking. It's just a joke. But it's not okay to hurt people's feelings just because you're not serious.
My name is Kenji Tsukada. I'm a very ordinary guy working in a local city. I'm a civil servant and I'm quite busy. Sometimes, I have to work on my days off, so I think I give my girlfriend Toko a lot of trouble. Even if I schedule a date, I have to cancel it because I have to go to work unexpectedly. I can't even go out for dinner because of unexpected overtime. Even so, Toko continued to go out with me. We've been together for 3 years now. I finally made up my mind. It was the anniversary of the day I asked her out. I got my work done by that date, and made arrangements to never get called in. I took a paid leave, and made reservations at an Italian restaurant we went to on our first date. After enjoying our meal, I finally brought it up. Toko, marry me.
Kenji!
I held out the ring with a trembling hand. Toko hid her mouth when she saw it, and cried with a gasp.
Of course! I'm so happy!
I'm glad I succeeded. From now on, I'm going to make Toko the happiest person in the world. That's what I promised myself. 1 week later, we were arranging the day to go and greet each other's parents. Then I received a call from Jiro, a mutual friend of Toko. I was excited and told him right away that I was getting married. Yeah? What's up? Are things going well with you and Toko? Of course! We were just talking about going to say hi to her parents. I see. Jiro seemed like he wanted to say something. What? What's wrong? I'll send you Toko's Instagram account right now. Why all of a sudden? While I was surprised, the account name and URL were sent to me. The name was indeed Toko's. Realizing she was on Instagram only lasted for a second. What? The latest post that showed up said the most unbelievable thing!
He proposed to me, but it sucked because it was a super cheap ring, and we had Italian food. I've been saying for a while that I wanted a Harry Winston. He's stingy even though he has a lot of money.
All the words were unbelievable. It even had a photo. That was definitely the ring I gave her. Fearfully, I read the other posts. Written there were her complaints about every date.
He took me to a chain restaurant and wouldn't buy me one brand item. The hotel was a 1-star, so maybe I should find another guy.
Is this really what Toko thinks? The ring I gave her was from 4C. It's certainly a cheap ring for someone who wants a Harry Winston ring. Were her tears of joy at the time a lie? It's because I prioritized the gorgeous ceremony and honeymoon abroad that she wanted, but 4C is Toko's favorite brand, and the ring costs 200,000. I was in shock when I heard from Jiro again. I heard from Yuri too. I wasn't sure if I should tell you or not. Yuri's another mutual friend. The four of us used to go out drinking together. Apparently, Yuri knew a further secret about Toko that I didn't. Come to think of it, she kept telling me to be careful ever since we were dating. After I finished my call with Jiro, I took my chances and contacted Yuri.
Did you hear from Jiro?
Yeah. Yuri, do you know anything?
If you look closely at her Instagram, you might find out that girl might have another boyfriend.
I was shocked, as if something hit me in the head.
I wasn't sure because it was only suggestive. If you don't think it's cheating, then that's fine. It's not like I want to ruin your relationship.
The posts were mostly about dates. Looking at them again, there were indeed numerous photos of her going to unknown places on days I didn't know. Suggestive photos that showed a hand of a guy that wasn't me. On dates with a guy that wasn't with me. It was written in a way that compared them to me. Unlike someone else, he was cool, he had a car, and so on. I see. Yuri, thanks for telling me.
I'm really sorry I couldn't tell you before.
That's okay. You were worried about us. That's all that matters. Even though I proposed with such determination, I was so frustrated I couldn't stand it. But maybe it was a good thing we figured it out before we officially got married. I became more and more calm, and I texted Toko. I'm sorry I couldn't propose to you the way you wanted. Thanks for the 3 years. With those words and the URL to her Instagram. She read it, and I got a call, but I ignored it. When she realized I wasn't going to answer, she sent me a text out of desperation.
No, I'm sorry. That's not what you think it is. It's a fake. It's not what I think. Please answer the phone.
Incoming calls that wouldn't stop. Some of them were from unknown numbers. Probably a friend of Toko's. Telling her friends wouldn't help. Then, a few hours later, Toko came to my house.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please open the door. Let's talk about it.
There's nothing to talk about. I know you're cheating on me. Leave.
No, I didn't cheat.
I have clear evidence. You posted it on your Instagram. I already took screenshots of it. If you try anything more, I'll get a lawyer. After I said that, Toko suddenly lost momentum and left. She must have stayed there for an hour, but it got quiet, so she probably went home. Then she asked for help from Yuri and Jiro, but they were angry with her too, of course. She still couldn't give up, and to my surprise, she even suggested that we talk it out, including our parents this time. Well, I had given her a ring, and we were engaged. I reluctantly called my father to have a discussion with Toko's parents. We gathered at a certain family restaurant. As soon as my father and I arrived, Toko's father became very angry. You're making fun of my daughter! What do you think you're doing? What? Don't tell me she didn't tell them properly. Or did she twist the story to make herself look better? Anyway, Toko's father was yelling the whole time. No, Toko doesn't seem to like me, so I'd like to cancel the marriage. Didn't you hear the details? I don't care! My daughter is hurt! Apologize first! I looked at Toko and saw her smirking. Don't tell me she thought I'd listen to her as she threatened me like this. She's so evil, it's funny. I really was an idiot for not noticing. But my dad was no slouch either. Here's the proof. I showed them the Instagram screenshots and other things, and the text Yuri gave me. There she was, cursing me out and talking about how great her other boyfriend was. And also saying that she decided to marry me just because I made good money.
No, that is not true.
It was too late to hide it. Toko tried to hide it in a panic, but it was too late, and her father turned pale. You two are behaving terribly. We came here to talk things over, but you yell at us all of a sudden? It doesn't look like we're going to be able to discuss this. So shall we put a lawyer between us? I'm sorry, but please, don't cancel the marriage! I said, implying that I would charge them alimony. Then Toko's father started rubbing his head against the table. No. I don't want to marry Toko anymore. And I don't want to call someone like you my father-in-law. Please, go home. When I said that so clearly, both Toko and her father turned blue in the face. If they'd been polite from the beginning, I wouldn't have said so much. I guess he only believed what Toko said because of his daughter's cuteness. That was it for the day. My father was still angry as we left, and asked if we should get a lawyer. But I just wanted to cut them off as soon as possible. I haven't had any contact with Toko since then. Yuri and Jiro told me she contacts them every day, asking them to be the mediator between her and I. And the other boyfriend was a married man. I've been told that his wife is demanding alimony from Toko, and her parents were made to get down on their knees. The market price is said to be about 3 million yen, so it must be tough. I tried not to care, but I was still depressed, even though I understood that she was such a woman. Because we'd been together for 3 years. Then Yuri and Jiro took me out, and to my surprise, I ended up going out with Yuri. Actually, it seems that Jiro knew that Yuri liked me. That's why she was so worried about me. But for a while, I was scared to do anything. I don't know if it's safe to do this to her. I need to take her to a proper restaurant. Yuri laughed at me for being so frightened, and deliberately took me to chain restaurants.
I'm happy wherever I am with the person I like.
Those words brought tears to my eyes. Although there's not much I can do, I decided to make Yuri happy as much as I could, with all my heart. My name is Masaru Sato. I have an older sister and a younger brother who are close in age. My sister and I have already moved out of our parents' house, and are living alone. My younger brother Koki married a woman of the same age named Misaki, and lives with our parents in our parents' house. My parents' house has a few extra rooms, so my sister and I kept our room and used it as a storage room. I'm home.
Hello, welcome back. Did you want to have dinner?
No, I just came to get my stuff.
Well, I'll pack you something to eat at home.
Don't worry about it. I appreciate it though. I don't live that far from my parents' house, so there were times when I would go home and just pick up my stuff when I felt like it. That's what the relationship between me and my parents' family is like. But after a while, when my brother and his wife got married and started living at home, I found that my brother's wife, Misaki, was a bit of a dangerous person. It all started in a room that my sister was using as a storage room.
Sister-in-law, you leave a lot of clothes in this house, right?
Yeah, I don't wear them much these days, but I couldn't throw them away because I liked them.
I see. If you don't wear it anymore, can you give it to me?
No, I don't want to give it to you.
But you don't wear it anymore, right?
Just because I don't wear it much doesn't mean I don't wear it at all anymore. These are things I go back to get every season.
Oh, so you don't have to give it to me. So can I borrow it while you're gone?
Well, you can wear it if you can put it back in the closet. I won't give it to you, though.
Yay, I'll wear it next time I go out with my friends.
Misaki's power to get to her sister-in-law was so overwhelming that she told Misaki that she could wear the clothes and accessories in her parents' room as long as she returned them. But when Misaki found something she liked, she put it away in her room. Isn't it Misaki? Hey, Misaki!
I said I'd only lend it to you, not give it to you, right?
Oh, but you're not gonna wear it anyway, so it's okay if I keep it, right?
No, give it back.
But you already gave this to me.
No matter what my sister and brother said, Misaki insisted she gave it to her already. My sister gave up trying to argue and locked her closet with a padlock and a bike lock so that she would never be able to open it. As expected, Misaki would have no choice but to give up, but she didn't seem to be discouraged at all.
Oh, there's some here too.
She couldn't borrow my sister's clothes anymore, so she decided to ransack my room next. My room was also locked, but it was equipped with a lock that could be easily opened by using a coin, so she was able to break in easily. I had a lot of women's clothes in my room, and she started messing with them too.
They fit me perfectly. And their shoes too. It's one size bigger than me, but it's better than being too small.
Misaki-san started borrowing ladies' clothes from my room without my permission. I guess she learned her lesson a little bit and returned them after borrowing them every time, so that she wouldn't get caught, and also locked them back up properly. I didn't check in often either, and no one noticed. Then on New Year's Day, Misaki decided to wear a kimono when she went out for her first visit to the shrine. At that time, she borrowed a kimono that was hanging in my room without permission and put it on.
Where did you get that kimono? I borrowed it from a relative.
That's an unusual kimono. Is that for a cosplay?
What?
It's too short, and it's not something you'd wear on a New Year's visit. And the socks are too long.
Yes, the kimono in my room was a cosplay kimono that I handmade. It was short, 15 centimeters above the knee, with long sleeves, and it took a lot of courage to wear it outside. The socks were also knee-high that I had altered, and they were too unique to go to a shrine. I had a few kimonos in my room, some regular ones, but why did she choose the most unusual one? No adult would go to the shrine in that. Why are you wearing my brother's kimono without permission?
Wait, your brother's? What do you mean?
That's my brother's kimono. I saw him making it before. I have a picture of him wearing it too. Yeah, I'm not only into making cosplay costumes, I'm also into wearing them. I'm about normal height, but I have small arms and legs and face parts, and I cosplay female characters. Misaki panicked when she heard the words, "my brother's kimono."
No, gross! A kimono worn by a guy?
Huh. If you put it that way, I'm sure you've worn most of my sister's clothes too, since my brother and sister share clothes.
What? No!
We share the same size clothes, but we didn't share shoe sizes. But Misaki probably wore my shoes. My feet are 25.5 centimeters, and most of the heels I had in my room were heels with cute bows on them. Misaki got crazy over the fact that I was wearing the same clothes she had been wearing, and she took scissors to the outfits in my room. My brother tried to calm her down somehow, but she didn't stop at all. After a while, Misaki managed to calm down, perhaps tired of the rampage. And that's when I arrived. Why did you ruin everything? Can you pay for that?
It was disgusting. I mean, pay for it. Just for a cosplay costume?
Yeah, about 1,000,000 yen for everything you ripped apart.
A million? How can a simple handmade cosplay costume be that expensive?
It's true that everything is handmade, but the cloth is Nishijin brocade, and even the obi is a real obi that I bought and altered. The amount of cloth and accessories used is more than that of a regular kimono.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I once tried on a commercial cosplay costume, but it was mass-produced, so the fabric was flimsy and shiny, and it didn't match the character's image. Although the sizes were divided, many of them did not have a well-defined silhouette, so that people of different shapes could fit in. I couldn't like the commercial products, so I bought a power sewing machine and started making them by hand using real kimonos and fabrics. Even though they're real, they're on sale, but they still cost a lot of money. I'm telling you, this is the price without considering any production fee. It would be more expensive if you consider the time and effort to make it.
You've got to be kidding me. I mean, it's gross how you can wear women's clothes. I can't believe I was wearing the same thing.
You're the one who's gross. You're trespassing in my room and borrowing my clothes without my permission. It's stuff from my room, and you destroy it when you find out I've used it.
It's your fault that you locked the door so that it could be easily opened.
No, it's your fault for opening it.
Oh, shut up! It's just so gross I can't. It's really gross.
That doesn't mean you can rip it apart. You should have stopped her if you knew. No, I knew about my sister's and I was careful about it, but I never knew she went into yours.
When I put on that kimono, I borrowed a pair of knee-high socks with it. I couldn't stand the thought of my brother-in-law wearing those too. And the thought of my brother-in-law wearing the same socks that I was? Gross!
If that's the case, you didn't have to tear up the outfits you weren't wearing.
Ugh, shut up! It was just too gross!
I decided to file a claim against Misaki's parents for a reasonable amount of money, because talking to her wasn't getting anywhere. Even if I charged Misaki directly, my brother would have to pay it anyway. And I was angry she didn't show any remorse at all, either.
You're insane to bring my parents into this. I really don't know what crazy people are thinking.
That's my line. You really have no remorse at all, do you?
Of course I don't. I don't see why I should be sorry.
Even though I was annoyed with Misaki, who kept getting upset, Misaki's parents were very understanding people.
I'm really sorry about what my daughter did. Oh, why did she turn out like that?
Can you give me a ballpark figure? I'll make Misaki pay for it.
What? Why? I don't understand.
Misaki's parents fell to their knees and apologized, and Misaki instantly began to cry. It's because you stole people's things and then cut them up. Where did you learn that?
I'm so sorry.
What was that tough attitude you had up until now? She cried and got down on her knees, and I felt sorry for her. But that's that. My brother thought about getting a divorce, but since it was a family matter and she showed remorse, he decided to move out and let his head cool down before thinking about it. But Misaki was actually a little bit crazy after all. I heard that she went to visit her newlywed friend's house and explored the upstairs bedroom without permission. It ended in an attempt, so no damage was done. But he finally decided to get a divorce and separated through a lawyer. There was a possibility of her taking revenge, but Misaki's parents decided to do something about it. They sold the family home they lived in all their lives and moved the three of them to a distant place to keep an eye on Misaki.
I will take responsibility for raising her to be that kind of person. I am truly sorry for the trouble I have caused you.
It seems that they went to a place where it was no longer easy to steal, and that was the end of Misaki's case. As for me, I'm reworking a costume I had plans to wear that was cut up, although I can't make the exact same thing twice. In fact, most of them were made while I was still getting started, so the quality of the ones I was making now were much better. If anything, it's getting more enjoyable. so I'm glad I have this kind of personality.
Huh, I didn't know that happened. You did have a lot of pictures of you dressed up as a woman on display.
My sister, who was the first to be affected, learned all about it after Misaki left the place, and nibbled on a rice cracker with her hand on her cheek.
Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Bye!